Kamala Harris, speaking of which, who, has a busy week ahead. A busy week of pretending she's doing half as much as Donald Trump is. And that act is making the Democrats very nervous.
So Politico noting Harris has spent more than a third of days since the DNC either hiding from the press in closed briefings or doing absolutely nothing at all without any scheduled public events. But when she does go out, she makes sure that she's surrounded by friends.
Team Harris lining up a beautiful week of bootlicking with and only with outlets who will suck up loud and louder. Sunday, an interview on the podcast Call Her Daddy, which was taped last week when, people were dying and dead. Today, she'll appear on 60 Minutes. Tomorrow, she's hitting up on The View, The Howard Stern Show, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Thursday, she'll sit for a town hall with Univision.
She even feels safe enough to let her host call her daddy in on a little secret. She's scared straight about going head-to-head with Donald Trump.
I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling nervous. There's this old adage, there are only two ways to run, without an opponent or scared. So there you go.
If she's so scared, then why doesn't she do something about it? Give the American people something to think about. But even when she tries, she just can't seem to come up with the words.
My plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses, you invest in the middle class, and you strengthen America's economy. Small businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
But pardon me, Madam Vice President, the question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. And I plan on making that fair.
But we're dealing with the real world here.
But the real world includes...
How are you going to get this through Congress?
When you talk quietly with a lot of folks in Congress, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Here to explain someone who speaks Kamala, because the Lord knows we have no clue what she's talking about, Maslanksy Partner President and partner Lee Carter, host of the Ben Ferguson Show. Ben Ferguson, both of you, welcome. Lee Carter, I mean, you got to be kidding me. We can't make heads or tails of what the hell she's saying.
No, I think each interview that she does, she either makes a big mistake and you don't understand what it is that she's talking about, or she uses rehearsed lines. And I think it was really interesting when you listen to some of her interviews for the podcast. She said, one of the most important things about this is me having natural talk, just one-on-one conversation that's not rehearsed and that's spontaneous. And yet, the thing that I keep hearing back from voters, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, is that they're frustrated that she can't seem to do anything spontaneously. Everything feels canned, and when she goes off script, you can't make sense of what she's saying. And I think that's why we're seeing such a shift in the polls. Now, I say such a shift in the polls. We're looking at few points here and there, but the momentum does seem to be moving back towards Donald Trump and away from Kamala Harris.
Ben, answer me this. How do obsequious giggle fits with toe suckers help her or anybody?
Can we just take a moment and just go through that question? This is the reality of the presidential race we're in right now. We're going on podcasts, Call Her Daddy, a podcast that's all things sex. And then they're like, hey, we're going to bring in Kamala Harris. We're going to have a conversation. And somehow this is outreach to a set of voters. That is not normal. But when you're desperate to protect her and you don't want her sitting there, 60 Minutes is not that hard. It really isn't. They kind of tell you what they're going to do beforehand. They kind of give you the list of what they're going to cover. She can't handle those basic type of interviews. And when she does get asked a question, when they say things like, hey, this is the real world, she's like, well, when I talk quietly to people in Congress, I don't believe you. I think you're lying. And then when it comes to the real issues, you go back to FEMA, you guys just talked about this. Congresswoman Anna Paulina said that she had never gone to a single FEMA briefing. She put that out this week on Twitter. Never, not one time has she been to a FEMA briefing. We now have two major crises that are unfolding in this country that deal with FEMA. We have issues of where is the money? Are we out of money? Is there not enough money? Has the money been raided by illegal immigrants? And if you ask Kamala Harris that question, which is a real question, by the way, that matters to every American right now, especially if you're dealing with a storm or have a loved one, and you have a candidate that cannot answer that question, probably because she's spending too much time on Call Her Daddy podcasts, getting ready for those podcasts.
So, Lee, when I see Kamala Harris answer questions like this, which is non-answers, I wonder, does Team Harris know something that we don't know? Are they doing something really brilliant that we're not really aware of? Or is this just what we see it as, which is stupid?
Well, I think what Team Harris knows is the best strategy is to keep her a little bit hidden. I think they know, a lot of people are saying this is a risk-averse strategy. I actually think it's the only strategy because the more you see her, and this happened when she ran in 2019, the more you see her, the less you like her. So she came out with a bang. She did a very good job when she first announced. She did a pretty good job at the DNC, and ever since then, it feels like it's the same old manufactured lines over and over again, and when she goes off script, she gets herself into trouble, and people are still saying, I don't understand what it is that you're going to do, and Bill Whitaker, good for him for pushing back there.
It's the Joe Biden
How are you
basement
going to pay
strategy.
for it?
It's the Joe Biden basement strategy. Hide her in the basement, just like they did with him, and we'll buy an election through a lot of campaign ads, and we have all this free media coming in and in-kind donations from the big media groups that are really not challenging her, and they're going, hey, it's our best chance of winning, which, by the way, I don't blame them, because if you look at how bad she is, I wouldn't want her out there either.
Well,
we'll see if that's going to work, because we got to run. I'm sorry, we're going to come to a hard break here. Ben and Lee, thank you for being with us. We always appreciate it.
But
thank you.
You can't make a turkey dinner out of a box of potato flakes. And that's what they're dealing with. And by the way, Kamala Harris also tweeted that the funding to Lebanon. She was bragging about it.
Yeah. Give them her money, not to Americans.
On X. And she did the Call Her Daddy podcast, the interview, on Tuesday. That woman, or is she a woman, was on Air Force Two with her when people were they're still missing.
People were dying.
They're
And
still,
she's out there doing Call My Daddy.
And does she give a flying?
And it shows what kind of care she has or does not have for the American people. We'll see. It's interesting that the poll numbers are starting to shift towards Trump. We're going to see how this all plays out.